my lovelies, my name is Stephanie Lynette and welcome back to my channel. And this isn't exactly the first video of the year I thought I was going to be starting off with, I'll be honest, but here we are. I have such a desperate urge to start this, like a breaking news bulletin. This just in, breaking news. And then have like a lower third that says, Stephanie Lynette, tranny at large. So if you can't tell by the title and x-rays in the thumbnail of this video, I broke my arm. And I thought I'd make a quick video on it. I apologise for my appearance. I usually look much nicer in my videos, but I am not used to having not yet. Anyway, not yet. So here we are. For any of you who watched my 2022 recap, which I filmed on the 18th of December, and if you haven't seen it, I will link it above somewhere. I was travelling home to Cornwall for Christmas, and I'm from Cornwall. I was born and raised in Cornwall, and I was spending time with my family. And on the 23rd of December, so Christmas Eve, I went for a walk with my little sister Abigail, who we love. Hi Abigail, I love you. And it's a walk I've done many a times, but for some reason on this particular day it had been raining quite heavily, and as I was, so where I'm from in St Austell, there's something called the St Austell China Clay Trails, and it's filled with old rubble and it's very beautiful, but it's quite dangerous, and there's a rock in a place called Carclays overlooking a gorge, and getting off the rock, because we had just been up it, and my younger sister has a photo of that, which I will throw in just here before I broke my arm. I missed my footing and fell backwards with all of my weight on the tip of my left elbow, and then I also jolted back and I hit the back of my head, and I was a little bit concussed, but I'm fine. And I knew immediately that it was something bad because I couldn't breathe. So if anyone's ever hit their funny bone, that's the part of my arm I broke off. And obviously, as you can see, I'm in a sling and I've got movement and I'm not in a cast. And you're probably thinking, Stephanie, you broke your arm on the 23rd of December. Why aren't you wearing a cast? Let me tell you, you cheeky little observant person, you. I broke my, so the way that your elbow joint works is it's kind of like a ball joint. So the lower bone, the ulna, wraps around the upper bone, the elbow joint just there. And so say this is the ball joint, I snapped this bit, wait, it's really just, yeah, so, okay, wait. This is the ball joint, okay, so like, there, yeah. So this is the back of the elbow, this is the top of the elbow, and I went crack and broke this back bit off. So they had to put pins in my arm. So anyway, so yeah, my poor little sister, traumatized for life. She had the sound, I didn't, because I had hit my head and I didn't really remember a huge amount of it. And so it was the walk back to my house, because I had to call my dad on my younger sister's phone, and I was really struggling not to throw up, and I had to immediately be like, this is where we are, this is our location, come and get me right now. And he had just woken up, so I think he was scared to death. And he came and got me, and my mum was actually in bed, and my mum's a nurse, and he was like, oh yeah, we'll wake mum up in a bit, and I was like, can we wake her up now, please? And she had a look at it, and she was like, took one look. She said, oh yeah, A&E. And because my mum's a nurse, when my mum says A&E, she means A&E. But my dad was like, oh, you can wiggle your fingers, you can, you know, it doesn't look swollen, it's fine. So went to A&E on the 23rd with my lovely, lovely mum, Lynette. So I was in A&E for about 5 hours with my mum. I was seen by about 8 different people. I went in, had an initial consult, had an x-ray because they thought I had fractured not only the tip of my ulna, the side of it, they also thought I had fractured my wrist because I had a lot of bruising on my wrist and lots of swelling. And then I was put into a back slab, and then I saw the doctor, and there was some confusion because I was put into a back slab before I saw the doctor. And then I had to have further x-rays because they were sure that there was something on my wrist, but there wasn't in the end, thank God. Luckily I'm right-handed, so not too bad. But so yeah, coming home with my mum on the 23rd, I got a phone call on the 24th, so Christmas Eve, from the doctor at 8:30 to say, hi, can you come in at 11 AM? We want to operate on you today, which is just what every girl wants for Christmas. So I went in, I had to wait for ages because it was Christmas Eve and I was really hungry because I was nil by mouth and I wanted to be eating all the festive food. So went into surgery and they put a plate in my arm. I think it's 12 screws, 10 or 12 screws in my arm as well. And I have a really big scar on my arm. Let me show you. Trigger warning, scar incoming. So if you are squeamish, this is not for you. So here's my lovely arm. I can support it myself thanks to the work of the lovely doctors. And it's still quite bruised. Also, I've got lots of itchy bumps on it because I'm allergic to a lot of like adhesives. So yeah, but anyway, here is my lovely scar just on my arm. I don't know if you can see that. I think it's because it's focusing on my face. This is my lovely, lovely scar from my surgery. Yeah, and I got that on Christmas Eve, and then I got discharged and I went home on like quarter of an hour until Christmas. It was like 11:45 on Christmas Eve. And obviously there's lots of movement in it and things like that, and that's because I don't have to set the bone myself because it's been drilled into place essentially. And then the plate's doing the job for me. Thank you very much. So I was in a soft cast until the 6th of January, and then they took me out of that, and I had had quite a lot of movement, and I'm quite an up and about person, so I was really struggling to keep my arms still. So I was doing lots of movement and throwing around and talking with my hands, and it's got to stay in a sling with minimal movement, not no movement, but minimal movement, until the end of January. And then at that point I need to go to physiotherapy because I suffered some nerve damage in my 2 fingers, so my ring finger and my little finger on my left hand, and I can't properly articulate my wrist all the way. So on this one I can, you know, all of that, but on this one I get to about there, and then so that's that. And I also can't fully extend my arm like I can on this side, and obviously it's early days, so physio will be fine, I'm sure. But yeah, so technically this happened in 2022, and I already said 2022 had been a very turbulent year. So technically this happened last year. But yeah, so I broke my arm. I hope you've all had a much better start to your year than I have. But I didn't want to miss an upload because I really want to stick to my once every 2 weeks. If there's anything that you want to see, please let me know. I'm currently on Zapane for all of the pain that's associated with my arm, so I'm very amenable to doing some like goofy things. Woo, goofy. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're avoiding transphobia, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time for another video.